there, so that when we adjourn this afternoon, we should know that we're starting at 9:30 tomorrow. Thank you.
As a court, please. Milady,
thank you.
Milady, I won't have any further questions. Was I ever approached by the media over the lunch break? What's happening at the moment is in the overflow court, they managed to show the court and cut the witness out. Now, MultiChoice would like to do exactly the same. I can see no reason why they wouldn't be able to do exactly the same. If in terms of your order, they can show the rest of the court but cut out the witnesses, yes, I wouldn't have any difficulty with that.
Yes. There isn't any objection to this request.
I just don't know what it means, my lady. If we cut her out, will we be in? Well,
everybody else but the witness.
But I thought the court order was that when a witness gives evidence, that it would not be televised.
If the witness objects.
And it seems now, and she objected,
yes,
and it seems now what will happen is that it would be partly televised.
That's not how I understood it.
I'm just not sure, my lady.
But lady, the position is, in terms of the court order, the audiovisual caption of the video, of the witness, is prohibited by the judgment and by the agreement we've had.
Yes.
The audio, however, would still go out.
Yes, yes.
And what's happening at the moment in
Thank you, my lady. Miss Berger, do you want to be addressed as Miss Berger or Mrs. Johnson?
My title is Doctor, but you're welcome to call me whatever you like.
You want to be addressed as Doctor?
You're welcome to call me Madam. I don't...
Please
whatever.
assist me. How do you
Madam
want to
is
be
fine.
addressed?
Thank you. Madam would be fine.
Madam. Madam, am I right that at least we know one thing about the context of your testimony? And it is this, that you stand there believing that Oscar Pistorius lies and that he lied at the bail application.
U Edele, ek kan net vir die hof vertel wat ek gehoor het daardie aand. En so verduidelik ek dit aan die hof.
Madam.
I can only tell the court what I heard that evening.
And so I tell it to the court.
And so I tell it to the court.
Did you understand my question? If you didn't, please tell me.
U Edele, as hy vraag weer herhaal kan word asseblief.
As you stand in, as you testified in chief, you do it from a perspective that Oscar Pistorius lied at the bail application and his defense is a lie.
U Edele, ek kan nie verstaan hoe ek 'n vrou duidelik kon oorgil het en meneer Pistorius dit nie kon gehoor het nie. Ek verstaan dit nie.
I cannot understand how I could clearly hear a woman scream, but Mr. Pistorius could not hear that. I cannot understand that.
Dit is nie gesê in die voorverhoor nie.
It was not said in the pre-trial.
Shall I repeat my question? It can't be that difficult. Do you believe the man? Did you believe him when you heard what was going on at the bail application? Yes or no?
Ek stem saam dat daar 4 skote was. Ek stem saam dat ek 'n man 3 maal help hoor skree het. Maar wat uitgelaat is die vreesbevange gille. The fear-stricken screams van daai vrou.
My lady, I agree that I heard 4 gunshots and that I heard a man screaming for help 3 times.
But what was left out?
But what was left out was the fear-stricken screams of the woman.
Petrified screams.
Petrified screams of the woman.
How do you get in this answer now to the man screaming? How's that relevant to what I've asked you?
U Edele, ek dink dit was vir my se baie duidelik. Indien dit nie duidelik is nie, vra asseblief vir my 'n ander vraag, meer duidelik.
I think that it was clear enough, and if it's not clear, please ask me another question.
Did you understand me when I asked you that where you're standing there and when you testified in chief, it was from one context, one perspective, that Oscar Pistorius lied at the bail application. It's either yes, that's what I thought, or no, I didn't think that.
Die edele, soos ek gesê het, ek kan nie verstaan hoe meneer Pistorius nie kon gehoor het die vrou skree nie. So, indien hy sê daar nie 'n vrou geskree het nie, moet hy asseblief aan die hof verduidelik hoe hy dit nie kon gehoor het nie. Daai vraag moet aan meneer Pistorius gerig word.
I cannot understand why Mr. Pistorius did not hear the screams of the woman. And if he did not hear the screams of the woman, that's a question that needs to be asked to Mr. Pistorius.
Well, I'm not letting you off the hook. I'm coming back to my question that you have not answered 5 times. But let me ask you this thing. We know one thing. From ballistic evidence and from some of the witnesses to be relied upon by the state. We know about one event that we call shots. And we know about another event that we call bangs on the doors, where witnesses described similar to shots of a cricket bat. You with me?
Die edele, ek het nie die cricket bats sla op die deur gehoor nie. Ek het wel die skote gehoor en die gille.
My lady, I did not hear the cricket bat bangs on the door. I did, however, hear the gunshots.
How do you mean cricket bat bangs on door? Where do you get that from? That's not what I put.
Die edele, ek herhaal wat hy vir my gesê het. Ekskuus, kan u dit dan duideliker vir my rig?
I am repeating what you said. Could you make it more clearer to me then?
Could there have been shots fired when you were still asleep and you heard the screaming afterwards?
Nee, u edele, daar's geen manier daarvoor nie. Ek het wakker geword deur 'n vrou se angsgille.
No, my lady, it's not possible. I woke up due to the petrified screams of a woman.
Can I repeat my question?
Ek is nog besig om te antwoord. Ekskuus, mag ek klaar antwoord?
Sure.
U edele, ek het 'n oproep later gemaak en toe was daar nog gille en eers daarna was die skote.
I made a call later on and
A telephone call.
a telephone call later, and then
I heard a petrified screams.
I heard a petrified screams, and then there was the gunshots.
Could there have been shots fired before you woke up?
U edele, ek het 4 skote gehoor en dis eers na ek wakker is en sover dit my kennis strek, soos wat die verdediging ook sê, was daar net 4 skote geskiet daardie aand.
My lady, I heard 4 gunshots after I woke up, and as the defense also said,
There's only 4
there was only 4 shots fired.
Madam, what was my question? Because I think that there's some misunderstanding between the two of us. What was my question? Can you remember it at all?
U edele, natuurlik kan ek die vraag onthou.
So please tell me what it was.
Die vraag gaan die heeltyd herhaaldelik oor wanneer ek die skote gehoor het.
My lady, the question is repeatedly about when I heard the shots fired.
Maybe you must listen. I repeat. Could the shots have been fired before you woke up?
U edele, daar's geen manier nie.
There's no way, my lady.
Why not? Why could it not have been the cricket bat that you hear bashing the door?
U edele, ek het duidelik 4 skote gehoor na ek die oproep gemaak het.
My lady, I clearly heard 4 gunshots after I made the telephone call.
Surely you spoke to your husband about this case.
U edele, natuurlik het ek en my man dit bespreek, die traumatiese gebeure van dit.
Of course, I discussed it with my husband regarding the traumatic experience
Events
of it.
How many shots did he hear?
U edele, my man gaan self kom getuig aan die hof. Hy het ook 4 skote gehoor.
No.
My husband will come and testify before court himself, and he also heard 4 gunshots.
So your
5 or
husband...
6, 5 or 6.
Excuse me?
My husband heard a couple. He didn't know if it was 4, 5 or 6.
Ma'am, I have a difficulty. I asked you a specific question. You're absolutely clear. Also 4 shots. Ook 4 skote. As I reached to go to a paper, and you know what I was going to do, you changed your version. Why is that?
U edele, ek het nie my man se verklaring gelees nie. Ek is nie bekend met alles wat hy in sy verklaring gesit het nie. Ek weet hy het skote gehoor en ek weet ek het duidelik gehoor dit was 4 skote. Hy het 4, 5 of 6 skote gehoor, het hy gesê. Ek het nie sy verklaring gelees nie.
My lady, I never read my husband's statement. I do not know what the contents are. I know he heard gunshots. It was 4, 5 or 6 that he heard.
You remember when I asked you if you discussed it with your husband, you said of course.
Ek het sekere goeders bespreek met hom, die vrou se gille.
I did discuss certain things with him. The woman's screams.
U edele, ek het ook gesê ek het 4 skote gehoor.
I also said that I heard 4 gunshots.
My man het gesê hy is onseker dit kon 4, 5 of 6 skote gewees het, maar daar was heelwat skote gewees.
My husband said he's not sure. It could have been 4, 5 or 6 gunshots, but he was not sure.
Ek het 'n punt gemaak om nie die verklaring te lees nie.
I made a point not to read the statement.
Which statement is that now?
Die verklaring wat afgeneem is deur kaptein Mike van Aert.
The statement that was took by Captain Mike van Aert.
Have you never read it?
Ek het nie die verklaring gelees nie.
I did not read the statement.
So when he took the statement from you, how did it happen? Explain to the court.
Van my.
What did he do by taking the statement from you? Or are you referring to your husband's statement that you did not read?
U edele, ek het natuurlik my eie verklaring gelees, maar my man se verklaring is sy eie verklaring.
Of course I read my statement, but my husband's statement is his own.
U edele, verder is ons nie saam ons verklaringe afgelê nie, ons het apart ons verklaringe afgelê.
Furthermore, our statements was not taken down together, it was done separately.
Have you discussed the number of shots that your husband had heard with you?
U edele, my man het gesê daar was klomp skote gewees. 4, 5 of 6 het hy vir my gesê.
My husband said there was a lot of gunshots, 4, 5 or 6.
My man se getuie is sy eie getuie. Ons het nie die getuienis verander nie.
My husband's testimony is his own testimony. We did not change or alter it.
Dit wat ek onthou is myne, soos wat ek het onthou het daardie aand.
Mine is what I heard that evening.
Dit wat my man gehoor het, is dit wat hy gehoor het en ons hou by ons eie getuienis.
That what my husband heard is what he heard, and we are keeping with our own testimony.
What do you mean we did not change it? Are you talking on his behalf as well? We did not change our versions.
U edele, as my man gesê het hy het 4, 5 of 6 skote gehoor, ek is baie duidelik. Vir my weet ek daar was 4 skote wat ek gehoor het.
If my husband said that he heard 4, 5 or 6 gunshots, I can clearly say that I heard 4.
Met ander woorde, my man het nie gegaan en gesê hy het 4 gehoor nie. Hy het gehou by hoe dit vir hom geklink het.
In other words, my husband did not say that he heard 4. He as I did, he said what he heard.
What do you mean he stuck to what he had heard? When was that? You say hy het gehou, he stuck to it. When?
U edele, van wat ons gehoor het die 14de Februarie tot vandag toe. Dit wat ek gehoor het, is dit wat ek vandag aan die hof vertel.
My lady, from the 14th of February, what I heard that day, that is what I'm telling the court today.
En ek wil verifieer laas jaar, 14 Februarie 2013.
And I would like to verify 14 of February 2013.
I asked you about him sticking to his version. That's what you said.
U edele, ons
Could
is
you please explain that?
U edele, ons is onder eed hierso om die waarheid te praat. So ons hou by wat ons gehoor het daai aand. Ek kan net getuig oor wat ek gehoor het.
My lady, we are under oath here to speak the truth, and I can only testify about what I heard.
I'm asking you about him sticking to his version.
U edele,
Where do you get, may I finish?
Seker.
Him sticking to his version. Tell me about it.
U edele,
When did he stick to this version?
u edele, wat sal gebeur is wanneer my man in die hof getuig, gaan hy sy getuienis lewer soos wat hy dit gehoor het.
What will happen is when my husband comes and testify in court, he will give his version.
When did he stick to his version? Because that means one thing. He gives a version, when he's asked about it, he sticks to it. When did he stick to that version in your presence?
U edele, soos ek al voorheen verduidelik het, dit wat my man gehoor het, het hy bygehou, dis wat hy gehoor het, 4, 5 of 6 skote. Vir my was dit duidelik 4 skote. Ons het nie gegaan en enigiets verander nie. Dit wat ek gehoor het, is wat ek gehoor het.
When was
My
it?
lady, that what I heard, what he heard, he stuck by it. He heard 4, 5 or 6 gunshots. I clearly only heard 4. We did not go and change it.
My question is, what was the occasion that caused him to stick to his version?
U edele, daar was geen occasion gewees nie.
There was no occasion, my lady.
Now, how do you know that he stuck to his version?
U edele, wat ek probeer oordra het aan die hof, is dat ek eerlik is voor die hof en my man sal eerlik ook wees voor die hof.
What I'm trying to
Portray to the court.
portray to the court is that I am honest
In
and
front of the
my
court.
in front of the court, and my husband will also be honest before the court.
How do you know your husband will be honest?
U edele,
In court.
U edele, ek wonder of van hierdie vrae dalk aan my man gerig kan word.
My lady,
Dit gaan oor hom.
I wonder if some of these questions can't be directed to my husband because it's the questions is about him.
He did not say it, you said it, and I want you to explain it. How do you know that?
U edele, ek en my man is al meer as 20 jaar saam. Ek ken hom, hy's eerlik.
My lady, my husband and I are together for more than 20 years and I know him. He's honest.
So was he honest when he heard 5 to 6 shots?
U edele, ja, dit is sy getuienis, dis hoe hy dit ervaar het.
Would you say he's wrong?
Yes, that is what he heard and that is his testimony.
U edele, sy het nie nou vir hom geantwoord nie, sy het my vraag geïnterpreteer.
My lady,
I did not
the
answer.
interpreter did not answer his question. She interpreted my answer to you.
Would you say he's wrong?
U edele, my man sal
Just 1
getuig.
minute. What does that mean? Does it mean there is miscommunication?
U edele, there's no miscommunication between my husband and I. I was just
No,
saying.
no. I mean the interpreter. You said something about the interpreter.
Oh, she wanted to answer my question, but then the advocate already didn't give her a chance and he started translating before she could answer. So she was answering his next question and she wasn't interpreting what I was saying. Yeah, that's all right.
You ready?
Yes.
Was your husband right or wrong in saying that about the 5 to 6 shots?
Die edele, my man het gesê wat hy gehoor het. Dis sy weergawe.
My
Asking
husband
you.
said what he heard. It's his version.
Die edele, ek kan nie antwoord op my husband's behalf. I can't answer on his behalf.
Can he be right?
Die edele, my man sal binnekort getuig en al hierdie vrae aan hom kan aan hom gerig word.
Ma'am,
My
let-
husband will testify in due time and all of these questions can be posed to him.
Let me explain to you. If I say to someone I heard 4 and someone else says 5 to 6, then I have 2 answers. One is maybe he's right, I'm not too sure. It happened quickly, some time ago. Yes, he can be right, I can be right. The other one is he's definitely wrong, I'm right. Which one is it?
Die edele, ek is oortuig ek het 4 skote gehoor. My man se getuienis moet hy oor self oor praat. Ek kan nie praat oor sy getuienis.
I'm certain that I heard 4 gunshots. I cannot speak on
My husband's behalf.
on my husband's behalf regarding his testimony.
Have you read your statement, ma'am, made to Captain van Aert?
Die edele, ek het daardie aand my verklaring afgelê en ek het dit weer gelees.
That evening I gave my statement and I did read it.
Which evening are you referring to, ma'am?
Die edele, die aand wat kaptein Mike van Aert by my was.
I'm referring to the evening when Captain Mike van Aert visited us.
And surely before you came to give evidence today, you read through your statement again.
Die edele, ek het weer daardeur gelees.
I did read through it again.
And were you satisfied that your statement correctly reflected the events?
Die edele, dis hoe ek het gehoor het.
That is how I heard it.
Were you satisfied that your statement correctly reflected the events?
Die edele, my verklaring soos wat ek het daar gegee het, is presies hoe ek het gehoor het.
My statement, how I gave it there, is precisely how I heard it.
Now, let us go to one point, and that is, after what you described as shots, you said it was a confusing evening. What did you mean by that?
Ek het gesê, in my voorheen edelheid, ek gesê, ek was wakker na die tyd, toe advokaat Gerrie Nel vir my gevra het, toe sê ek was wakker, en ek het weer geslaap, ek het nie goed geslaap nie.
What I said, my lady, when Mr. Garinel questioned me was, afterwards I was awake and then I slept again. I didn't sleep well.
You said it was a confusing evening. Please, can you explain that to the
Die
court?
edele, ek het bedoel, dit was 'n de mekaar aand gewees, siende dat ek nie net wakker was of net geslaap het nie, ek het geslaap, ek was wakker, dit was ontstellend gewees.
What I meant was, it was a confusing evening for me because I was awake and then I slept again. It was
Distressing.
it was a distressing evening for me.
But what was confusing about it? Dear Makar, as he said. What was confusing?
Milady, I'd like to explain this in English. The events of that evening was extremely traumatic for me. The fear in that woman's voice is difficult to explain to the court. I was traumatized through what I heard that evening. So obviously I didn't go to bed without any, as usual, and just carry on. It was a very emotional situation to have to hear the absolute petrified screams and shouts. It wasn't just another evening, it was extremely emotional.
I understand the emotional side according to your version. I'm more interested in the confusing side.
Die edele, ek dink dit was dalk met die vertaling gewees, het was 'n de mekaar aand.
That's dear
I
Makar
think
is
it
not
could have
emotional.
been with the translation. It was a confusing evening.
But that's dear Makar. What other word did you want to use?
So edele, wat ek probeer verduidelik het, was dat dit nie soos enige ander aand was nie. It wasn't like any other evening.
No. Is there a difficulty, all court asked me, is there a difficulty between you and the interpreter? I
Excuse
need to
me.
know. Is there a difficulty between you and the interpreter? You must please tell me.
Is that right?
Do you feel that she correctly interprets what you're saying?
Edele, I'll say this in English, milady. She is interpreting what I'm saying. Some of the words are not exactly the same, and then I'm correcting her in English.
But because I see you've, a number of times you've corrected.
Milady, I can do for the court. I'm willing to speak English, and at some circumstances I can go over into Afrikaans where she'll translate for me.
As long as you're comfortable to do it.
Milady, I'm very comfortable. Ek kan beide Engels en Afrikaans praat.
I can speak both English and Afrikaans.
My mother tongue is Afrikaans, so I prefer Afrikaans.
Yes.
But if it's easier for the court, I'm willing to speak English.
Well, if it's easier for you, it's you I'm worried about.
Okay. I'd speak then Afrikaans, both Afrikaans and English, when I need to speak Afrikaans.
Yes. Well, you have to make up your mind. You want to speak English? You feel you are comfortable in English?
I prefer speaking Afrikaans.
Yes, I heard that.
Thanks.
But are you comfortable in English?
I'm fairly comfortable in English, but I prefer speaking
You
Afrikaans.
prefer speaking in English?
Yes.
Ma'am,
Let me just get some indication from counsel who understand Afrikaans. Is the interpretation what we can rely on?
think the difficulty that we have is that when I pose a question to the witness, the complaint is that it was not correctly interpreted.
Yes.
The word interpreted by the interpreter was in fact correctly interpreted. So I'm very loath to blame the interpreter,
Yes.
but it was done by the witness. That's my difficulty.
And dear mekaar simply
Yes,
means
confused,
confused.
yes, my lady.
Confusing,
Of
yes.
course. But it's there, it's on record. If there's a difficulty, I will raise it again.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
much. After you heard the sounds that you described as, I think, boom, 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 with the interval between the first and the second boom, what happened?
Ekskuus eerlik, kan die vraag weer herhaal asseblief?
After hearing the sounds that you described as boom, 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 boom. I know there was an interval, I may not be accurate in the duration of that interval, but that's not what I'm asking you now. What happened directly after that?
Toe die skote begin het ek weer die vrou hoor skree.
When the shot started, I again heard the woman scream.
Dit was tydens die skote wat ek al gehoor het.
It was during the shots that I heard her,
En net na die skote het haar stem weggekwyn.
and just after the shots, her voice started fading.
So let me understand it. Let's work on that part. So what you say, you heard the screaming simultaneous with the shots, with the boom, 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 and then that screaming faded away.
Die edele, ek het nie presies opgelet met presies wat se skote daar gulle by was nie.
I did not concentrate with which
Nee, nie concentrate nie. I did not note exactly.
I did not note with which shots there were screams,
Maar ek kan wel getuig dat die skote het begin en tydens die skote het ek weer die vrou se stem gehoor.
but I can testify that I heard the shots, and during the shots I heard the woman screaming.
And then, after the shots,
Die edele net na die skote, oomblik of wat na die skote, is die laaste wat ek die vrou se stem gehoor het, het weggekwyn.
And just a moment after the shots, I heard the woman's voice fading away.
now, why I'm asking, and I'll come back to this, in your evidence of chief, there was no mention of hearing any screaming after the shots. So I'm trying to understand what you say, that is it quaint, that it just faded away as part of the shots, or was there an independent screaming after the shots, an isolated screaming?
Die edele wat ek kan sê is ek het haar stem net na die skote gehoor. Dit het weggekwyn.
What I can say is that I heard her voice just after the shots, and it was fading away.
Yeah, but she did not scream after the shots, it was fading away after the shots.
Die edele, dit kan wees dat sy geskree het, dat sy die klank gemaak het na die tyd, of dat sy tesame met die laaste skoot geskree het en dit het weggekwyn.
It could be that she screamed, and my apologies, my lady, may I ask her to just repeat what she said?
Dat net na die tyd sy gegil het en dit weggekwyn het, of tesame met die skoot.
That just after the shots that she screamed and it faded away, or
With the last shot.
with the last shot.
So, yeah, is my understanding correct? It was not a scream after the shots, but the screams as she was screaming during the shots, that scream faded away.
Die edele, dit kan wees dat sy na die tyd gegil het.
It could be that she screamed afterwards.
Ek het haar stem gehoor net na die tyd.
I heard her voice
Net just afterwards.
just afterwards.
Yeah, but you say it can be. We started to speculate now. I want to know what you remember. Can be, a lot of things can be. What is it that you can remember as you stand there?
Die edele, die skoot het begin en daar was 4 skote. Tydens die skote het ek die vrou se stem gehoor en net na die tyd het ek haar stem ook gehoor.
My lady, there were shots, 4 shots, and I heard her voice,
And just afterwards
and
was the last,
just afterwards
was the last time.
was the last time I heard her voice.
But If you say, can you repeat it? If you say you heard a voice afterwards, what does that mean?
Dit beteken ek het dieselfde vrou wat my wakker geskree het, daai selfde vrou se stem het ek weer gehoor.
It means that the same woman that woke me with her screams, I heard her voice.
But what does it mean? Does it mean she carried on screaming during the shots? That's the first point. And then after the shots she screamed again, or can't you say that?
Die edele sy kon moontlik geskree het met die laaste skoot, of sy kon net na die laaste skoot geskree het, want ek het haar stem die laaste gehoor, net 'n oomblik na dit, nie lank na dit nie, net 'n oomblik na dit.
She could have screamed with the last shot or just after, because I heard her voice just after.
Not a long time afterwards.
Not a long time afterwards.
What you say that you're not sure. It could have been with the last shot, it could have been shortly after the last shot.
Die edele, ek bevestig, ek het haar net na die skote die laaste keer haar stem gehoor.
I confirmed that just after the last shot I heard her scream.
Her voice.
Her voice. My apologies.
I understand the voice. I'm talking about an independent scream. I scream, it's quiet. I scream, it's quiet. Was it a continuous scream?
Die edele, ek wil dit aan die hof duidelik maak, dat dit vinnig gegaan het, daai skote en die skree. Dit was, ek het dit nie verwag nie. Nie so nie, nie daai aand nie.
I would like to make it clear to the court that the screaming, it went very fast. I did not expect that evening.
What is it that you say to me by mentioning that? What is it that you want the
Die
court to
edele,
infer
ek
from
het nie daar gesit, my lady, I didn't sit there with a stopwatch and take down the timing of each shot. I did not sit there and write down with each shot when she shouted. What I can portray to the court is that there were 4 gunshots, and that I heard her petrified screaming sometime during the gunshots, and just after the gunshots was the last that I heard the same woman's voice that woke me that evening.
You see, ma'am, you are not sure, and before you answer, I'm going to give you a fair chance. And I'm going to say it's quite clear from your version. You are not sure, and what you're now doing, you're adapting, you're speculating, you're trying to close all the gaps. I want you to bear in mind that what I'm going to put to you in due course is your statement. And I want to put to you that your statement contradicts what you say in court now. So let me ask you the questions, and keep that in mind. And I'm going to put it to you. What is it that you heard in relation to the shots about the woman?
Can you please verify what you mean with relation to the shots?
The screaming, the howling, in time, was it before, during, or after?
My lady, as I stated to the court before, I was woken up by a woman's petrified screams. I heard her screaming first. Then I heard her call for help. Then I heard a man call for help 3 times. I then made a call. I gave the phone to my husband and he spoke to security. Afterwards, I heard the woman's petrified screams again. Shortly after that, I heard her screaming sometime during the shots. I cannot verify whether it was with number 1, 2, 3 and 4, but I can say that I heard her voice during the shots. And shortly after the shots was the last time I heard that woman shout. As I stated to the court before, it can be that she shouted with the last gunshot and I heard her voice afterwards, or she could have shouted just afterwards. I did not hear her a minute after the last shots. It was shortly after the shots. A moment or 2 after the shots was the last I heard her.
It could still have been the same voice echoing, coming from the same time as the shots, or it could have been a new scream. That's what you say.
It could have been a new scream. I heard a voice.
Or it could have been a scream echoing from a scream during the firing of the last shot, or at the time of the firing of the last shot.
Yes.
One of the two.
One of the two. I heard a voice moments. If it's asked to me, when was the last you heard the woman shout? I will state that the last I heard the woman shout was shortly after the last shot. I did not hear her a minute afterwards. I did not hear her 30 seconds afterwards. It was very shortly after the shot was the last time I heard that woman's voice.
What we also know, you don't know if that was an independent scream or it was still part of the scream echoing coming from the same time as the firing of the shot. Could be either of them.
What I would like to state to the court is that I heard her voice during the shots, and the last time I heard her was shortly after that. I did not hear her a minute afterwards. It was shortly after the shots was the last time I heard her.
And what is ingrained in your mind was at that time during the shots that woman was totally petrified. That was something more intense.
I was convinced that that woman was being attacked. She and her husband were being attacked in their house. I was convinced it was an attack in the house through robbers. There was no doubt in my mind because of the fear in that woman's voice.
What was my question?
Please repeat the question.
Can you remember it at all?
I was focusing on the fear. Please repeat the
You
question.
were focusing on?
On the fear, explaining what I heard.
Was that the time that's ingrained in your mind that is so significant was when that she was totally petrified in her screams at that time? It stood out.
Milady, what I can say to the court is her shouts, her screams were petrifying. Before the gunshots, moments before the gunshots, I sat in the bed and it's the most helpless feeling I've ever had in my life. I anticipated something was going to happen. Because of the climax of her shouts, I knew something terrible was happening in that house. I thought they were being attacked in their house. You only shout like that if your life is really threatened.
It was not just a scream, there was something more, it was far more intense. You could hear it's building up. It's far more intense.
It was very intense.
More intense than the screaming that you've heard before.
Milady, the screams that I heard before was petrified, the female screams. But just before the gunshots, it was blood-curdling. It was something that leaves you cold. It's something you can't portray in the court. You can't explain it. You just know that woman's life was really threatened.
You see, ma'am, and we're going to deal with that. That's of course very easy and would have been very easy to tell Captain van Aert about. When he sits with you and you depose to your affidavit, and he's a very, very experienced policeman, you would tell him about it to say, whoa, there was now something far more serious, as you explained, not so? You would have told him about this.
Milady, everything I'm stating to the court, I stated to Captain van Aert. I was very impressed with his professional conduct.
Yes. I'm going to ask the state to make your statement available and then prove it to you and then read that paragraph to you. If I may ask the state. It is 8:30. Of course, there will be other things as well, but let's deal with that. Lady, we're just trying to see if we can get a clean copy somewhere. If the court would just bear with me, my lady.
Yes, yes, yes.
Lady, it's got red marks on, but it doesn't matter. It's about content. Could you look, it's a copy of a statement. Could you look at that and identify it as your statement and the one that you made freely, sitting with Captain van Aert, and that you were satisfied that he correctly recorded what you were saying?
Milady, it's correct. It's my statement.
And may I ask you just before I hand it to the court? Knowing Captain van Aert is thorough, he would take your statement, read it back, and if you're not happy, you would change it, and you would only sign it when you're satisfied with the contents.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that statement that you were satisfied with? Is that your signature? Is that the one that you made to Captain van Aert?
Milady, that's correct. It's my statement.
Could we hand it up, my lady? The last exhibit number.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to read to you and the interpreter will translate.
Mr. Roo, I thought we were getting 3 copies.
Oh, my lady. I beg your pardon, I forgot about the assessor. May I ask for a very short adjournment because it would be unfair to the assessor. I apologize for that, I should have known. A very short adjournment.
Yes. Right there, so that when we adjourn this afternoon, we should know that we're starting at 9:30 tomorrow. Thank you.
As a court, please. My lady,
Thank you.
my lady, I won't have any further questions. Was I ever approached by the media over the lunch break? What's happening at the moment is in the overflow court, they managed to show the court and cut the witness out. Now, multi-choice would like to do exactly the same. I can see no reason why they wouldn't be able to do exactly the same. If in terms of your order, they can show the rest of the court but cut out the witnesses,
Yes.
I wouldn't have any difficulty with that.
Yes. There isn't any objection to this request.
I just don't know what it means, my lady. We cut her out. Will we be in? Well,
Everybody else but the witness.
but I thought the court order was that when a witness gives evidence, that it would not be televised.
If the witness objects.
And it seems now, and she objected,
Yes.
and it seems now what will happen is that it would be partly televised.
That's not how I understood it.
I'm
Am
just
I-
not sure, my lady.
But lady, the position is, in terms of court order, the audiovisual caption of the video, of the witness, is prohibited by the judgment and by the agreement we've had.
Yes.
The audio, however, would still go out.
Yes, yes.
And what's happening at the moment in
Mr. Roo?
Thank you, my lady. Miss Berger, do you want to be addressed as Miss Berger or Mrs. Johnson?
My title is doctor, but
As you stand in, as you testified in chief, you do it from a perspective that Oscar Pistorius lied at the bail application and his defense is a lie.
die edele, ek kan nie verstaan hoe ek 'n vrou duidelik kon oorgil het en meneer Pistorius dit nie kon gehoor het nie. Ek verstaan dit nie.
I cannot understand how I could clearly hear a woman scream, but Mr. Pistorius could not hear that. I cannot understand that.
Dit is nie gesê in die voorverhoor nie.
It was not said in the pre-trial.
Shall I repeat my question? It can't be that difficult. Do you believe the man? Did you believe him when you heard what was going on at the bail application? Yes
Die
or
edele,
no?
ek stem saam dat daar 4 skote was. Ek stem saam dat ek 'n man 3 maal help hoorskree het. Maar wat uitgelaat is die vreesbevange gille. The fear-stricken screams van daai vrou.
My lady, I agree that I heard 4 gunshots and that I heard a man screaming for help 3 times.
But what was left out?
But what was left out was the
Fear-stricken,
fear-stricken screams of the woman.
petrified screams.
Petrified screams of the women.
How do you get in this answer now to the man screaming? How's that relevant to what I've asked you?
Die edele, ek dink dit was vir my se baie duidelik. Indien dit nie duidelik is nie, vra asseblief vir my 'n ander vraag, meer duidelik.
I think that it was clear enough, and if it's not clear, please ask me another question.
Did you understand me when I asked you that where you're standing there and when you testified in chief, it was from one context, one perspective, that Oscar Pistorius lied at the bail application. It's either yes, that's what I thought, or no, I didn't.
You're welcome to call me whatever you like.
You want to be addressed as doctor?
You're welcome to call me madam. I don't
Please
whatever.
assist me. How do you
Madam
want to
is
be
fine.
addressed?
Thank you. Madam would be fine.
Madam. Madam, am I right that at least we know one thing about the context of your testimony? And it is this, that you stand there believing that Oscar Pistorius lies and that he lied at the bail application.
U edele, ek kan net vir die hof vertel wat ek gehoor het daardie aand. En so verduidelik ek dit aan die hof.
Madam,
I can only tell the court what I heard that evening,
And so I tell it to the court.
and so I tell it to the court.
did you understand my question? If you didn't, please tell me.
U edele, as hy vraag weer herhaal kan word asseblief.